Today we're going to be talking about why my truck keeps whining, but why I still love her. What up, what up? This is D'Angelo with D-Dollar Designs. We are going to be talking about my 2024 Tundra SR5 TRD off-road third generation pickup truck. I've had the truck since March of 2024. Absolutely love it. Test drove all the big, names out there, F-150s, GMCs, Dodge Rams. And I mean, realistically, everything has its pros and cons. Ultimately, I ended up going with the Tundra, just kind of fit my needs the best. I felt like the ride quality was phenomenal as compared to the other three. The standard options were great. The price was good. I was able to work out a really good deal. And I also love the lunar rock color, like more than anything. Possibly the only color that is better, in my opinion, is the Ford Raptor second generation lead foot gray, which I also believe was available on the standard F-150s. But nonetheless, I digress. So a little bit of background about myself. I'm a mechanical engineer, graduated from the University of Central Florida in 2019. Go Knights, charge on. And I'm always tinkering, playing around with my vehicles. I have a 2011 Ford Mustang with the 5-liter Coyote in it, 6-speed manual. And prior to my 24 Tundra, I had a 2006 GMC Sierra 2500 HD with the 6-liter LQ9 LS motor. Not my first rodeo. I'm very meticulous, very attentive to sounds, inner workings, things that I consider to be non-normal. And I really do truly believe that this is a problem across the board. I want to say 2022 to 2024 Tundras are affected. I did test drive a 2025, and to my mixed bag of emotions, I was actually able to confirm that the 2025 does not have the issue that I'm about to describe in this video. So I think they fixed it, which is good, but also painful because it's not fixed in my truck right now, and it is actually driving me insane. So let's kind of start to break down the issue at hand. So what is the problem? Well, in short, my rear diff whines like a little bee. In long, I have noticed after my first 1,000-mile break-in oil change, a whining occurring from the rear of the vehicle. Right, there was a lot of talk in the forums and the Facebook pages of wind noise and rattling from the bed, shaking around, things like that. This is not that. This is a completely separate issue. And when I first started noticing it, it occurs at 76 miles an hour exactly on the dot when your foot is on the gas, cruising at highway speeds. At first, I was hearing this rear differential whine when my rear window was down and I was driving above 76 miles an hour. You may ask, why are you driving at 76 miles an hour plus with your rear window down? And the simple answer to that is because I can. That was literally one of the best reasons why I bought the Tundra. The rear window goes down. But anyway, started noticing the rear differential whine, and over time it started getting worse, right? So I first brought up the issue at my 1,000-mile oil change. I said, hey, this truck has a whine and it's coming from the rear diff. And they were like, okay, sure, whatever you say. Didn't really pay attention to it at all. I just wanted them to document it for their notes. I didn't really want them to take any action. Again, truck had 1,000 miles. Maybe it was just new, needed to break in. Fast forward 5,000 mile oil change. I bring up the concern again, and this time the rear whine was actually getting worse, right? So extremely prevalent, 76 miles an hour plus, extremely prevalent, 80 to 87, which is a speed that I drive often. I live out west near I-80. The speed limit is literally 80 miles an hour. It's 85 miles an hour in some spots as well. So I consistently drive this speed, right? And it's extremely frustrating to hear my brand new truck whining at highway speed. So they took it in for a completely formal diagnostic, right? They stethoscoped the rear diff of the truck. The tech at first was like, it's the turbos. And I was like, no, it's not the turbos at all. Like, come on. And so I drove with the tech, showed him the noise I was talking about. He was like, oh yeah, that's for sure a noise, right? Stethoscoped the rear diff, and they concluded that, yes, the noise that I was experiencing was coming from the rear differential, can be picked up at 76 miles an hour plus. In addition, I started hearing it in between 45 and 50 miles an hour. And so, right, it's getting worse, right? So the next step was for them to drop my rear differential fluid at 5,000 miles and inspect it for metal shavings, to which the first answer from them was they were going to charge me $279 for said rear differential service, which I declined. They said that if they did find metal shavings, that it would be covered under warranty. But at this point, my truck had literally been in the shop for a week and I needed it. So I declined the service, right? And I was like, okay, we'll just keep kicking this can down the road. So here is the paperwork I received from the dealership, right? And this is their basic diagnosis. And you can read it here, right? It says, test drove vehicle with customer to identify noise, verified noise complaint at 75 to 80 miles an hour, and following day, test drove vehicle again, verifying noise. Test drove a similar 2024 SR5 Tundra to see if noise appeared to be normal and was able to get this vehicle also making the noise. Suspect noise to be a slight humming from the rear differential, but appears to be normal for this vehicle. No repairs recommended at this time. If noise appears to grow in scale, advise customer to return for further diagnostic. So essentially, my dealership's service advice was do nothing. Your truck whines. We verified it. It's normal for a 2024 Tundra SR5. Which, number one, no, it's not. Anyone who has ever rebuilt a rear differential will tell you any sort of noise, whine, related to acceleration or deceleration in your rear differential is indicative of an incorrectly set up rear differential, whether it's the shim sizing or the preload on the nut, whatever it may be. You're gonna take that differential apart and you're gonna rebuild it until it does not make a sound, right? Okay, so I hope everyone can see and understand that that is the expectation for a brand new vehicle with a brand new rear differential, that there should be no noise whatsoever, right? So essentially the service team told me to go, right, kick bricks, which is cool. So I opened up a customer care case with Toyota, brought it up to the Toyota brand engagement team, right? Showed them this paperwork. They were like, yeah, like we're going to work on it hard, right? We're going to review with our technical team. Well, they took like 3 weeks to review with their technical team, and their advice was do nothing. There's nothing wrong with the truck. It's normal for 2024s. So I'm really not cool with that at all. And I have now reopened the case because through my further research, right, I've been able to identify a single person who was willing enough to give me the paperwork for their 2024 Tundra getting a rear differential full assembly replaced in upstate New York, completely covered under warranty by the dealer. And so I reopened my case with Toyota, sent them this paperwork, and now I'm bringing it back in to the dealership for a third time now for them to, on my dime, in theory, unless this gets covered by warranty, which I'm expecting it to be, drop the differential fluid, inspect it for rear metal flake shavings, and if they find that, then they said that yes, they would indeed cover my rear differential under warranty. So that's good news, right? The other thing that I found out about how Toyota works with their brand engagement center is if you bring your vehicle in for the same problem a second time, the elevation and escalation next steps are for your dealership to open up a technical case with Toyota. So I have already informed my dealership that they will be opening up a technical case with Toyota. And I'm really, really, really hoping to get to the bottom of this, because it is truly the most irritating thing that could possibly be happening, at least from my perspective. It is literally a whine at 76 miles an hour plus and between 45 and 50 miles an hour, which quite frankly, for me at least, are speeds that I drive almost daily. So this has been extremely frustrating for me, right? Outside of all of the noise and the garbage regarding the engine recalls, the debris in the motor, we all know about that, right? But I honestly do truly think that this is a massive problem, and that this a problem is affecting a lot of Tundra owners. And I think honestly, a lot of them aren't even realizing it. I think they're just like thinking that that is the norm for the vehicle, or they haven't been able to identify the root cause of the noise and they're looping it in with like the bed noise or wind noise or something like that. And I really think that this is a issue across the board for at least the 2022 through 2024 Tundra models. My build date was February of 2024. So, and I drove, when I had my truck in the shop, I drove Limited with a build date of 6/24, and the Limited had the same issue. It seemed to be not as prevalent as mine, but I also didn't have any sort of measurement to verify that in terms of decibel noise or things like that. Where do we go from here? Like I said, I have an appointment to bring my Tundra in for a third time. Like I said, I reopened the case with Toyota. I shared with them the paperwork of the individual who was so kind to give me their information. And I'm just really hopeful that, number one, they agree that this is a problem. Number two, fix the problem. And number three, after they fix the problem is truly gone, right? Because again, in my research, there's honestly a mixed bag of feedback from owners who I've found who have had, number one, the exact same symptoms as me. Number two, found the same recourse of action as me, which is, right, fighting with the dealership to get their rear end replaced. But, right, I'm not really certain what the time frames are for the different people that I've spoken with and interfaced with and seen. I mean, the guy who shared with me his rear end paperwork, he said that the truck is fixed and perfect, and he said that it even improved ride quality, which I actually was kind of starting to think, because I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, but there's this like really weird rebound thing that's happening in the rear end at speed. And I have a video of it's like the shock is just not really understanding what it's supposed to be doing, or the spring in the rear, and it just like bucks you really hard for seemingly no reason, right? The road's fine. It's just really weird. And now I'm sitting here thinking if the two issues are related, maybe that could be, I'm not really sure. This is really me reaching super hard. But, right, so I have one person who had their rear end replaced like within the past 4 weeks, and they said that it fixed it. I just was speaking with a guy on the Facebook page, one of the Facebook pages that I'm in, and he said that he got his rear end replaced at 11,000 miles, super similar to mine, and it didn't fix it, right? So even though there's a very good possibility and likelihood that they are going to go ahead and replace the rear end, I'm still not 100% confident that it's actually going to fix it. I'm feeling a little bit better, right? Because in April, March timeframe, my assumption would be that they replaced his rear end with a 24 or even earlier model rear end than that. Whereas the person who I had spoken to, right, in the past couple of weeks who had gotten their rear end replaced, I would think and assume that their rear end would have been one of the rear ends that's going into a 2025, which, if you recall, I stated, right, the 2025 Tundra that I drove did not have this issue. So we're really holding our breath on this one, right? In conclusion, I really do absolutely love this truck. I mean, the power is incredible. The fuel economy is honestly really, really good. The winter performance is confidence inspiring. It's spectacular. The off-road performance is unlike anything I've ever experienced in a truck that I've personally owned. So, I mean, it's really a shame because I want to love this truck so much, and I truly, truly do love this truck for everything that it has to offer and everything that it is. It's just this one little thing that is just literally making me cry on the inside. Tears, hard ones. So, man, I really, really hope that I can get this fixed. I really, really hope that this can be seen as a larger scale issue other than a onesie twosie here or there. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be totally reaching, right? And that's why I'm making this video. I want to communicate. I want to talk. I want to understand. So please, like, comment, tell me your experience. Tell me if this is something that you might have just been alerted to, you've been noticing for a while, didn't really know how to address it. Let's talk. I'm gonna be making a part 2 video with the results and the findings that I get back from the dealership. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, onward and upward. This is D'Angelo, D Dollar Designs. Peace and out.